Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and I stay super as long as you stay awesome. When it comes to Superman, many actors have been chosen to play the Man of Steel, from Henry Cavill to Dean Cain to Tom Welling. But there is one person that has been one of the best versions of Superman, and that is Christopher Reeve. Now, personally, I only like the first two. It's hard to say with these two, but I have decided for the month of November, I am going to be creating it and calling it Reevember. Starting at the first one with Superman.
Our movie starts on Krypton with General Zod and his cohorts being sentenced, with Jor-El being the final vote of his sentence. They, of course, are found guilty and are sentenced to the Phantom Zone. Jor-El is then given the rest of Krypton the warning to evacuate the planet, which of course is ignored by the Council, and is instead told to keep quiet or he himself will be banished to the Phantom Zone. Jor-El warns his wife about the impending danger, and we watch as they set up a ship to send their child to safety. As they send the baby into space, the planet begins to self-destruct. The people of Krypton begin to panic as the world crumbles around them and explodes, killing everybody.
See, that's exactly what you get for ignoring a scientist's warning. 95% of the time, the scientist is right.
A couple years pass as our hero travels through space and safely crashes into Earth as a couple investigate the crash site to see our hero climb out of it.
You know, back when this movie was made, no one gave a rat's ass about censorship and babies and seeing penises on screen and shit like that. Nowadays, I have to censor it. Welcome to today's society.
The couple debate over whether or not to keep the child, and we see something no baby should be able to do.
That baby should not be able to do that.
We jump to Clark's high school years, where we see he is the equipment boy for Smallville High. We see the typical nerd being picked on by a jock cliche, and Clark takes his anger out on a football.
And it's good!
Clark runs home side by side a train, and we see a young Lois Lane witness the event. It's now time for the cliche superhero talk of parent telling our hero to not try to show off their powers and use them responsibly. It's then Jonathan's last words to Clark as he has a heart attack, and of course, no superhero movie is complete without a funeral. Late at night, Clark finds a piece of kryptonite that for some reason doesn't hurt him inside the shed, and the next day, Martha and Clark have a heart-to-heart about Clark's secret. Clark heads to the Arctic and he enters a fortress of solitude for the first time. In the fortress, he speaks with Jor-El's floating head and is given all the background of his life.
I don't know if it's just me, but I honestly find the first hour of this movie extremely boring. but it gets better.
It's now Clark's adult life where we go to the Daily Planet for grown-up Lois meeting Clark for the first time, where Perry White gives Lois the task of showing Clark the ropes in the reporter business. We get a tour of the city as the two walk by an alley and are held up by a thief. After Lois gets the drop on the thief, our hero saves her from a bullet. A couple of cops track down a man in a hat named Otis around the city who leads them into the subway. Otis gives the cops the slip as he sneaks into a hidden panel along the wall, and Lex pushes the switch to push out the panel, killing the cop trying to sneak in the lair. In his lair, Lex and his wench talk about him creating the crime of the century, but the scene doesn't really do much other than a talk with Boobs McGee, Tessmacher. Clark tries to ask Lois out on a date, and she says yes, but only after her story is done. We jump to Lois, who gets into a helicopter that, of course, becomes part of the Lois Lane jinx, and gets caught on wires, causing it to go haywire. Lois looks death in the eyes until...
God, look up there! What the hell is that? Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me! Who's got you?
Technically, it's the wires holding him, but that's behind the scenes.
Word spreads of this Superman as crime after crime is thwarted by our hero. An airplane is struck by lightning, and of course our hero is there to save the day. Back in the fortress, we get some fatherly advice of keeping Superman's identity a secret, and at Luthor's, Lex is baffled by the news of a flying man, and it's to the Daily Planet we go, with Lois getting a card for meeting her savior at her place during a writer's meeting. It's now the next night, and Superman shows up at Lois's place for a very provocative one-on-one interview. During the interview, Superman gives his backstory to Lois, and we then get the most iconic scene of the entire movie. Lois flying around the city with Superman. The scene lasts a whole 5 minutes without really anything to add but lovey-lovey stuff. And after the flight, Clark shows up to whisk her away on the date.
So our hero has now fallen in love with Lois in both versions of himself. And we all know if he tells her his identity, 3 things will happen. 1, she will be pissed off for him lying to her. 2, she will die or get kidnapped. 3, she will get her memory erased. But I'm ahead of myself.
Lex is in his thinking mode and deduces that our hero's weakness could be any piece of kryptonite and sets out to find some to take down our hero. Lex stages a fake car crash in order to change the coordinates on a military missile, but Otis screws up, so he's forced to create another diversion by pretending to be a lost truck driver. While Clark is talking to Perry White, Lex sends Superman a challenge through...
This is Lex Luthor. Only one thing alive with less than 4 legs can hear this frequency, Superman, and that's you. In approximately 5 minutes, a poison gas pellet containing propane lithium compound will be released through thousands of air ducts in the city, effectively annihilating half the population of Metropolis.
Well, I was a reporter before most of my...
Our hero, of course, heads out to save the day, heading straight for Lex's trap. Lex tests Superman's powers by doing test after test until Superman succeeds and they come face to face for the first time. Lex does supervillain cliche number 1, which is telling the hero his evil plan of blowing up California to create his own West Coast. In a search to find the bomb's detonator, Superman is introduced to kryptonite for the first time as Lex overpowers our hero, sending him to a watery grave.
You don't even care where the other missile's headed, do you?
Certainly I do. I know exactly where it's headed. Hackensack, New Jersey.
See, even Lex Luthor hates New Jersey. Why? Yo, we're all thinking it.
Help comes in the form of an unlikely source as Miss Tessmacher grows a conscience and removes the kryptonite away from our hero. After, of course, stealing a kiss. Our hero then speeds off to stop the rockets, and he gets to the first one on time, but the one headed to the dam does not get saved in time, causing disaster everywhere. After putting the plate back in alignment, Superman saves a bus from falling off the bridge, a train from falling off its tracks, and the dam starts breaking apart. After Superman saves Jimmy Olsen, rocks and boulders start to pile in on Lois's car, and she starts to get buried alive. Superman shoves boulder after boulder in order to stop the dam water, and he finally makes his way to a troubled Lois. But when he gets there, it's way too late, and we witness one of the worst deaths in superhero movie history.
I think I'm actually gonna cry over her death. Yeah, I'll be back.
After a bit of musicless and emotional mourning, Superman lets his rage get the best of him as he ignores Jor-El and uses his power for personal gain by reversing the Earth's orbit, setting time back. Time reset, Lois lives, and so does everybody else, though Lois and Jimmy still have memories of the earthquake. And the movie ends with Superman personally bringing Lex to jail.
Okay, so there's the first of 4 Superman movies. But one thing that baffles my mind. If he went back in time and reset everything, the earthquake technically did not happen, but why do Jimmy and Lois still have memories of the earthquake happening? Maybe I'm going in too much, but it's just one of those things that bugs me. I may be wrong, I may be right. Other than that, please join me when I go into Superman 2, and we watch the fall of General Zod. I'm your superhero critic. I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome. And thank you for watching Reevember. Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and welcome to Reevember. Now, when it comes to a superhero movie, sequels all depend on whether or not the movie is a successful movie or not. Now, sometimes piece of shit movies like Ghost Rider get sequels, and then masterpieces like 1978 Superman get sequels as well. Now, that all depends on whether or not the sequel is good. 2 of which are not, one of which is. Now, I'm not doing the Richard Donner's cut version because I don't actually have it, so this is just the normal version for the review.
Hey, Superhero Crick, I heard you're doing Superman 2. Can I join?
Hello, Toxic Raver. Apparently you're joining this video.
Fuck yeah, let's do this.
Well, without further ado, Superman 2.
Our movie begins in the past and shows the audience how General Zod and its cohorts got to where they were at the beginning of the first movie, showing us what happened to put them in the Phantom Zone to begin with.
After the credits, we head to the Daily Planet, and Clark is told about a terrorist plot to blow up Paris if their demands are not met. Perry White has already sent Lois there to catch the scoop. Our hero flies into action as Lois sneaks past the guards to the Eiffel Tower. The guards release their hostages since their demands are gonna be met, and in the process of everything, Lois once again gets in trouble as she gets caught in the elevator as a terrorist set up a bomb and fuses go off early, causing the elevator to plummet down to the bottom of the tower.
I believe this is your floor.
Oh, thank God. How'd I get myself into this?
Damn, it seems like Lois Lane has the worst luck ever.
That, my friend, is Lois Lane syndrome. The syndrome that most superhero movies adopt to put their superhero's girlfriend in.
Our hero flies the elevator bomb into space and through the explosion destroys the Phantom Zone piece that has our villains trapped in it, setting them free. Well, good job, genius. We then head back to the planet and watch Clark get friend-zoned over a glass of orange juice. Smooth.
Here's to friendship.
At the jailhouse, Lex is going over his next plan to take down Superman with Otis, involving Lex heading up north to track the Man of Steel. We then jump to NASA and the moon, where Ursa is seen for the first time by a couple of astronauts. She chases one of the astronauts down, killing him, while Zod kills another. The final one tries to get away, only for Non to destroy the space station. Our three villains decide that they are going to Earth to rule with their new powers. At the jail, Lex has staged an escape via a hot air balloon. In the process, leaves Otis behind.
That right there is when you know you need to lose weight.
I wouldn't know, jackass.
That's because you're a skinny motherfucker.
Fuck yourself.
Clark and Lois go undercover at the Niagara Falls to try and uncover whether or not the hotel they are scamming people or not. While sightseeing and pining over Superman, a couple ignored the child and he almost fell all the way into the falls. Superman shows up and saves the boy. With Clark gone, Lois finally puts two and two together.
Happened to be in Niagara Falls, and Clark is not around as usual.
Ding, ding, ding. Tell her what.
Nah, I think I'll let the honors go to Cooney.
Nothing! Absolutely nothing!
Lex heads to the Arctic and intrudes into the Fortress of Solitude and somehow knows how to work all of the crystals within the fortress. He learns through Superman's mother that if Zod and his cohorts land on Earth, they'll probably have the same powers as our hero and sets out to find the three of them. Back to Lois and Clark, Lois is so certain that Clark is the Man of Steel that she throws herself over the ledge of the falls. In order to keep his identity a secret, Clark plays dumb and does not become our hero, but still saves her in the end.
You're what I thought was Superman?
Sorry.
This is really embarrassing.
Our three villains land on Earth, and after Ursa is bit by a snake, she learns that she has laser vision. At the hotel, Lois is down in the dumps with the whole situation. Clark trips and lands in the fire, throwing his secret out there, and because it's no longer a secret, he chooses to show her the fortress. A couple of cops also meet our villains.
Make way.
Did I hear right? That son of a bitch give me an order?
Dwayne, take care of it. But, Dwayne, you gotta learn to kick ass. You want to be a peacemaker.
Okay, did that cop seriously just tell his partner to get out of the car and shoot these three people? Whether or not he knows they're Kryptonian or not.
Remember, he's a cop in the 70s. What did you expect would happen?
Our trio, of course, learns more about the planet by scaring the crap out of the cops by using their powers. In the fortress, the two lovebirds have a small talk-to-talk before we jump back to our trio, who walk into a restaurant and Ursa sits down for an arm wrestling match.
Let's just hold hands.
Let me know if this tickles.
Zod quickly gets bored with the townspeople as he demonstrates more powers. In the fortress, Superman gives Lois the tour and teaches her more backstory. The news spreads of the trio as they put themselves on the news, the army to handle them, only for them to quickly be attacked. The military is quickly destroyed, and Zod gives a message to the planet.
We get a lovely couple having a dinner discussing a possible future as Zod demands more from the military. Superman discusses with his mother that he wants to become human in order to stay with Lois, and to that we believe that he is
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Our hero steps into the crystals and his powers are stripped away. With our trio of villains slowly taking over the planet, our hero is just relaxing in his bed with his love. Our trio then do superhero move cliche number 5 as they break the windows of the White House and take it over. Zod then demands that the president kneels before him.
Oh God. Zod.
Our powerless hero decides it's time for a dinner date, but it isn't long before an asshole hits on Lois and proceeds to kick Clark's ass, and our hero feels defeat for the first time. The diner owner turns on the TV. Clark then finally finds out about General Zod through the president. Our hero knows what has to be done and heads back to the fortress to try to turn his powers back on. The green crystal he has shows up once again.
That's what you get for losing your powers. You become as worthless as Kick-Ass. Well, at least your world didn't get taken over by a dude in bondage.
Luthor heads to the White House and informs Zod who Superman really is, and Zod vows revenge. Our trio heads to the Daily Planet in search for Clark, since Lex knows all of his secrets. When they don't find him, they of course go to capture Lois, only for Superman to reappear. The 4 Kryptonians begin the battle in the city, of course. It begins 3 versus 1. Our hero is eventually overpowered until he slips out of Non's grasp as Ursa goes to hit him.
Hold him!
Wow, home run.
Home run! Superman cages Non as Zod figures out that our hero's downfall is caring for the people of Earth. He starts targeting humans. Zod goes to blow up a truck, and our hero reflects the laser back to him using a mirror. The fight is taken underground as our hero and villain beat the crap out of each other, causing the city to earthquake. Once back up top, Zod throws Superman into a cigarette truck, and in response, Superman hurls Zod into a Coke sign. Zod in my Coke.
Oh, but you got Coke in my Zod.
Ursa and Non hurl a bus filled with people in it at our hero, and the humans assumed he's dead and try to revolt against the Kryptonians, only for Zod to literally blow him away. Non and Ursa join in, and the city basically becomes a hurricane zone. Superman arises, but in the process, ditches the city, and our trio claim a victory. Lex convinces Zod not to kill him in exchange for Lex's information, and they kidnap Lois as well. In the fortress, Non wastes no time and charges straight for Superman.
Hooray for random powers that make no sense whatsoever.
That just makes me hungry for a fruit roll-up now.
Everything makes you hungry for fruit roll-ups.
That's not the point. In fact, I'm gonna go get one now.
I don't have any.
The villains all charge their lasers at our hero, which he quickly deflects back at them. It's then a game of which Superman is the real Superman, as Superman creates illusions of himself to trick the trio. After the illusionary game, Lois is once again in danger, and after being betrayed by Lex, our hero is forced into a molecular changer. Superman finally kneels at Zod, only to set the trap that he sprung.
And swear eternal loyalty to Zod.
With the Kryptonians powerless, they are quickly taken out, and all is well in Metropolis once more. At the planet where Clark and Lois speak over all of what's gone on, and after a kiss, Lois completely loses her memory about who Clark really is.
Yeah, this is what happens when I'm fine.
Breathe,
I'm breathing for heaven's sake.
Our movie ends with Clark heading back to the diner and teaching the douchebag a lesson he deserved. We then watch Superman return an American flag to the White House building before the credits roll.
Sorry I've been away so long. I won't let you down again.
So there you go. The good Superman sequel. And thank you, Toxic, for helping me. But now my question is whether or not you're going to help with this atrocity, Superman 3.
Nope, you're on your own. Fuck that shit. Bye.
I'm going it alone. Thank you, asshat. I'm your superhero critic. I'm not looking forward to this. But I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome. Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and welcome to more Reevember. After the success of the first two Christopher Reeve Superman movies, of course, eventually the movie franchise is going to fall flat on its face. And this franchise is no exception. With Superman 3, the biggest problem is Richard Pryor himself. While he tries to be comedic, it falls flat. But let's let the movie speak for itself. This is Superman 3.
Our movie starts with Richard Pryor being declined for unemployment help. He then goes to smoke with help from a bystander. On the matchbook, he sees an ad to make big bucks by becoming a supercomputer programmer. We see next a barrage of slapstick comedy that is not only unneeded, but also not very funny at all. It includes penguin toys walking around, a blind man wandering around, and pies.
Seriously, leave slapstick comedy to people like the Three Stooges, 'cause this shit isn't funny!
After this slapstick, we see Pryor becoming an automatic computer genius. White is being his typical self, trying to get the next story for the planet rolling along. Clark and Lois talk about their requested off vacations, Clark going to his high school reunion, and Lois to Bermuda. Back to Pryor at his new job, where he hacks into the company's computer in order to give himself more money on his paycheck. On the way to Smallville, Clark's bus is stopped by a chemical plant accident, and the stupid cops let Jimmy slip right by.
Oy, this headache. The cop looks straight at Jimmy, does not do his job, and stopping him. You can clearly see that he looks straight at Jimmy. Ma!
Superman, of course, jumps in to save the day by breaking off a plant pipe and turning it into an ingenious makeshift slide.
Okay, that actually looks cool. I wouldn't mind sliding down that thing. I don't know what's in the tube, but it'd be fun.
While searching for more people to save, Superman comes across a scientist who refuses to leave because he knows if he leaves, the chemicals that he's watching will create a complete disaster. After saving Captain Jimmy's stupid pants, Superman learns that the firemen have lost pressure in their hose, so Superman thinks quickly when he learns of a nearby lake.
Okay, now I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done. He just froze an entire section of a lake, lifted the whole damn thing, and just dropped it on the plant. Words cannot describe how stupid that is.
So yes, as I said, Superman drops this giant chunk of ice onto the chemical plant, saving the day. We head to the reunion where we meet Lana Lang, who's played by Annette O'Toole, who will later go on to play Martha Kent in Smallville. The two old crushes catch up as the jock bully tries to convince Lana to dance, but she chooses Clark instead.
Earth angel, will you be mine, my darling dear?
The hacking works as we see Pryor get his fake check, and it's back to Smallville High, where Clark and Lana catch up a little bit more. The topic is relationships that never happened. Gee, what are they trying to insinuate? We jump to our movie's villain, Webster, who has found out about Pryor's scam and consults his oldest colleague on what to do. At the bowling alley, our hero helps Lana's son learn how to bowl the only way Superman can.
That, sir, is super cheating.
Pryor gets called into Webster's office, and instead of getting fired or jailed, he is offered a job to help Webster crush Colombia's coffee export because they are the only country to not side with him, and he sends him to Smallville in order to do the job. We jump to Lana and Clark on a picnic where Clark gets cockblocked by Lana's car troubles before changing into Superman in order to save Lana's son from a field worker. Pryor tricks a guard into letting him into the building, where after getting the guard wasted, he hacks into the system, causing all electronics in the world to go haywire. He targets the weathering system to lock onto Columbia and changes the weather to cause countrywide panic. Unfortunately, Pryor comes into Webster's home, and we learn that Superman has already stopped Webster's plan through a babbling Pryor.
His cape was flapping in the wind. He was flying. He was great. He was just flying around. Shh.
Did Richard Pryor actually think most of his jokes are funny? I'm sorry. To me, it just sounds like a 3-year-old who has figured out how to use the bathroom and tries to tell their mother how it happened through rambling. It's cute at first, then just gets annoyingly disgusting.
Webster decides he needs to find a way to get kryptonite, and Pryor learns that he can't ski.
Ha!
Pryor starts examining the krypton particles and changes the unknown ingredient to tar. While at the planet, Clark gets a call from Lana and promises her that Superman will be at her son's birthday party. In Smallville, however, Superman is presented with the key to the city. Pryor shows up and acts as a military person and gives him the fake kryptonite as a token of appreciation, but it seems to have absolutely no effect on him. At Lana, Superman starts having strange feelings and thoughts that make him into a complete creep and douchebag, including ignoring an accident he's told about and straightening the Leaning Tower of Pizza.
That is one peeved off Italian.
Webster starts his control of the world's oil plan, but Pryor has his own plans and demands his own supercomputer in return for helping. One of the tankers ignores the orders and continues to go to Metropolis. Superman, who is now apparently evil in every way, is convinced by Webster's girl toy Lorelei to head to the tanker and make it go where Webster wants it to.
Congratulations, Superman. You're officially worse than these guys.
Douchebag Superman gets drunk and through Lana and Ricky concerns he flies away. The movie portrays our hero's battle with himself completely literally as our hero splits into two different personalities and the two of them proceed to beat the shit out of each other in a junkyard. All looks bleak for the good version when he's trapped inside of a car compactor. Good Clark eventually prevails as he literally chokes the life out of the evil Superman. He quickly goes straight into fixing his mistakes, starting with the oil tanker he destroyed. Superman heads to Webster's only to find out that they are hiding in the Grand Canyon. Our hero heads straight for them, but they are ready for him as they send all their defenses at him. Superman gets knocked out as he's hit with a missile, but of course he comes back. And of course, he heads straight into the trap as Webster traps him in the bubble.
That's very good. Let's see how long you can carry on without any air.
Really? A bubble? You couldn't think of anything else more cartoony? Wile E. Coyote?
Superman, of course, escapes, but is then trapped in a kryptonite beam. Pryor has a conscience and does everything he can to help the superhero. He slides down the giant computer, including unscrewing the single screw keeping the computer together.
At least it's idiot-proof.
Pryor and Webster fight over the screw, leading to Webster being punched in the face. The computer decides it still wants to exist and comes to life. Pryor destroys the kryptonite ray only to get hurt himself. As everyone tries to escape, Webster's sister gets sucked into the computer.
The fuck am I looking at?
Bicentennial Woman attacks Lorelei and Webster as the city's power gets depleted. Superman deflects the attack beam to the robot woman and proceeds to grab and open a jar of some kind as he's eaten by the computer. The container starts to spew out an ooze that covers the computer as it explodes. Superman digs himself and Pryor out of the rubble, completely ignoring Lorelei and Webster as they fly back to the city. He stops by a coal mine to crush a piece of coal into diamond and heads to Lana's to give Lana the diamond ring he just made. Douchebag Brad gets pissed off for seeing Clark proposing and tries to fight him. Our movie ends at the Daily Planet where Lois meets Lana for the first time, who has now gotten a new job as Perry White's secretary. Superman puts the Tower of Pisa back into a leaning position.
I think the biggest reason this movie flopped is because of Richard Pryor's comedy. I understand you're trying to be funny and all that crap and lighten up the mood for the movie, but after the first 20 jokes, it gets annoying. Everything does not have to be a joke right after another. Christopher Reeve is the only reason this movie was a success in any way. Especially because of the fight between himself. Now, while this movie is meh, the next Christopher Reeve movie that I must review is Superman 4. The Quest for Peace. There's not much I can actually say about this movie, so I'm going to say this. This movie makes me just as mad as this Italian. I'm your superhero critic. I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome. As long as you stay more awesome than... And welcome. to the final video for Reevember. I'm not looking forward to this movie at all. I wanted to strangle myself for even watching it. It is one of the worst things to ever happen to the Superman franchise other than Superman 64. So I can get this done and y'all don't have to sit through as much of a piece of shit as this is. Let's just start with Superman 4, A Quest for Peace.
Our pitiful excuse of a movie begins in space with astronauts whose shuttle gets hit by a straggling satellite, putting everyone in danger, and Superman, of course, comes in to save the day.
I know I'm not some big hotshot editor and stuff like that, but you'd think they would shoot more than 3 green screen shots for Superman to actually fly. You look out through the entire movie, every time he is either flying towards someone or flying away from someone, it is the same shot manipulated to look different, but you can clearly tell it's the same thing. The only thing I have to say about that is, why so lazy?
After saving the astronauts, Clark heads to his home in Smallville and finds a talking piece of kryptonite that begins speaking to him. Kal-El's mother speaks to him as she hands him a crystal piece, warning him that the power it holds can only be used once. Clark has a conversation with a contractor and developer who wants to buy the Kent farm in order to build a mall. Clark says that he would only sell to a farmer, and at a quarry, we see Lex get set free by his nephew, played by a very early John Cryer.
I will give this movie one thing. That is a very unique Wile E. Coyote way to break Lex out of jail. But my question for that is, are all the cops in Metropolis just complete and total dunderheads? All 4 movies, the cops have no idea what the fuck to do.
In Metropolis, Lois boards a train that quickly speeds up when the driver becomes unconscious.
For a second I thought, hey, maybe I could actually get done with this movie very fast. Superman gets ran over by a train, end of movie. But no, I don't have that luck.
At the Daily Planet, we see that the paper has been bought out from under Perry White. Of course, the new owner just wants to make money, and of course, the reporters aren't for it. The president comes on the air and begins speaking about the nuclear war that's going on, saying that America will now be joining it. At a museum for Superman, Lex and his nephew steal a sample of Superman's hair in order to make a clone.
Okay, a little bit of science here for you. If that one strand of hair can hold 1,000-pound weight, why is a simple pair of shears able to cut it? You'd think it'd be stronger than that, but no, plot convenience.
Back at the plant, Lucy tries to seduce our innocent Clark, but is interrupted by Lois, who shows Clark a letter addressed to Superman from a boy wanting help to stop the war. Lacey uses it as a way to sell papers, and of course makes our hero look like a douchebag. This, of course, takes off everybody, and at the Fortress of Solitude, Superman argues with his parents on what to do about Earth. Depression sets in, and Lois tries to cheer him up, only for him to reveal his identity to her a second time.
Clark? Clark? Clark, things aren't that bad! Clark, stop! Clark! Clark! Clark!
Did you have to make it look like you were about to kill her? You right there just made yourself look like a super douche.
We then get a way shittier version of the Clark and Lois flying scenes, only for it to end with Clark once again erasing Lois's memory of everything she knows about him and his identity. Afterwards, our hero does what he does best and heads to a peace conference and announces that he's going to rid the planet of all nuclear weaponry. After the montage of Superman destroying the world's missiles, Lex has a meeting with a bunch of criminal heads about his newest plan to hurt Superman. As he sneaks his concoction onto a military missile, he launches it into space, only for Superman to help throw it into the sun, giving birth to our movie's villain, Nuclear Man.
It's a radioactive Fabio.
Fabio heads to Earth. Our hero is working out with Lacey, very horribly, I might add, and the scene really does nothing but show how much Lacey wants Clark. It's back to Lex, who meets his creation, who has a bit of an attitude problem before we find out that our villain is completely solar powered and can't work outside of the sun. And of course, we then get a game of identity crisis as our hero bounces between hero and civilian mode, trying to keep both Lois and Lacey happy with a Superman interview and a date with Lacey at the same time. Lex tries another version of the frequency trick from the first movie.
Concerned, Blue Boy. You're the only one who can hear me. It's my own private frequency. You might call it Lex TV. Look to your left, tall, dark, and handsome. I'm gonna blow 20 stories off that building. Give and take a floor or two.
Of course, Superman knows there is not a bomb and heads straight to Lex, but of course it's a trap, and it begins our long, boring fight as hero and villain fight all over Metropolis in the world, including destroying the Great Wall of China.
Did he really just fix the Great Wall of China just by looking at it? Really? What is with all the plot conveniences?
We now get a super slow fight that goes back and forth. Nuclear Man blows up a volcano, Superman clogs it up with a mountain, Nuclear Man throws the Statue of Liberty at people, Superman saves them. After being Lady Deathstrike's scratch, the world assumes that Superman is dead, when in fact he's just getting sicker. He keeps disappearing. Lois then gets a gut feeling and heads to a slowly sickening Clark, and after a brief pep talk, he heads back to the farm to grab the crystal to recharge his energy. At the same time, Nuclear Man heads to the planet to kidnap Lacey, only for our hero to be there to stop him. After targeting people, Superman lures Nuclear Man into a trap where he gets drained of power when he snuck into an elevator. Superman then decides to take said elevator and drops it on the moon. The final fight begins as the villain starts pummeling our hero, and honestly, the final fight to me doesn't offer jack shit worth mentioning. It's all boring, it's all slow-paced, and it makes Superman look like a wimp as he's pounded into the moon's surface. Nuclear Man runs to Earth to grab Lacey and ends up bringing her to space. Which makes no logical sense because if a human was in space, they would die without a suit. So how the fuck is Lacey still alive without a suit? Anyway, Superman decides to block out the sun, which would also destroy Earth. You know, science and shit. Killing our villain. The rest of the movie is simple. The paper's bought back from Perry White, Lex is rearrested, and the happiness goes on.
So there you go. Superman 4, A Quest for Peace. I honestly would rather be on a quest for Reese's Pieces while I'm taking a piece of shit out of my ass and throwing it in the toilet. Because it would be so much better than this movie. I am finally done with Reevember, and as I said at the beginning of the month, I knew it would get worse as it went along. But I don't know what else to say because there is really nothing else to say. So I'm your superhero critic. I'm gonna go find Reese's Pieces and hopefully find something to rub the images of this movie out of my mind. And I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome.